Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prodigy channel. And this is one of the craziest Saturdays in probably forever in NFL history, at least in fantasy history. It is November 28th, 2020. We are heading into week 12 of the 2020 fantasy football season. I guess technically week 12 already started on Thanksgiving, but we have so much stuff happening and we're just going to kind of go through it all in this video. I'm going to talk about it in the context of my leagues so you guys can kind of see what I am doing, so maybe that can help you decide what you want to do to deal with all this craziness. So in this video, we're going to talk about what to do with Snell, Kendall Hinton, who's a guy you've probably never heard of, but you should know his name, Jordan Wilkins, and Nahim Heinz. So let's just start off by kind of going over the basics of what's going on. So for the Indianapolis Colts, Jonathan Taylor was ruled out. I'm not sure if he has COVID or if he came into contact with it or what, but he's not playing. So that means Nahim Heinz and Jordan Wilkins are the running backs for the Colts as of now. And then for Pittsburgh, the same thing with James Conner. He has some sort of COVID thing going on, so he's going to miss the game. So that means Snell is their running back. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Jalen Samuels is also going to miss this game, if it'll let me find it. But this game already, yep, it says he's out. So yeah, Snell is looking like a nice little play potentially this week, depending on your situation. But this game already did get pushed back to Tuesday. That's another thing to be aware of. So hopefully your league has it. So let's just say you have a guy who's in the Pittsburgh and Baltimore game that got pushed back to Tuesday. So let's just say you have Chase Claypool in that game, like I do right here. So what we're doing in our league is I'm going to have Chase Claypool in my lineup, but before any of these Sunday games start, I can say Chase Claypool is in my lineup, but if the game gets canceled or moved to a different week, I'm designating Chris Godwin as my substitute. Obviously, I have to make that choice before either of them play the game, but hopefully you guys are doing that in your league. That's just one idea that our league has decided to implement this season. But enough of that. So that's kind of what's going on with the Colts and the Steelers. And then for the Denver Broncos, all of their quarterbacks have come into contact with COVID, so they're all out for the game. And that means that Kendall Hilton, who is a wide receiver, he is being converted to a quarterback. Now, as of this recording, we're not really sure what exactly the Broncos are going to do. We don't know if he's going to be like the full starter, if they're going to use, obviously he's going to be more of like a wildcat type of guy, I'm assuming, just kind of, running. I'm not like, he's not going to be dropping back and throwing the ball like 30 times. At least I wouldn't think so. And I'm not sure if there's going to be other guys in the backfield, like Melvin Gordon, maybe getting some direct snaps. I have no idea what's going to happen. So we're just going to, like I said, we're going to go through my leagues and I'll show you guys what I have been doing. So this is a 12-team non-PPR league, and I've just made a few transactions recently. All these players are off waivers now, so that means I could just pick them up freely, and I just so happen to get the news like pretty soon after it all broke what's going on. So I had to activate Raheem Mostert from IR, so I dropped Carlos Hyde to make that move. That's not really relevant to this. And then I picked up Kendall Hinton, who I talked about, dropped Tua, who's doubtful, and then I dropped Josh Kelly to pick up Snell. So you guys can see, we'll read the news together right now. So this says that Hinton will start at quarterback against the Saints for the Denver Broncos. So that right there means that he has the floor of a quarterback. So if you are struggling at wide receiver, you might want to consider him. I'm going to wait until more news breaks to see what exactly his role is going to be. I'm not sure I really like him enough to play him over a guy like Chase Claypool, Tyler Lockett, or Chris Godwin at this point. But if he, plays a full allotment of snaps, if he's touching the ball every single play, he's definitely worth considering. In this league, this is a dynasty league right here. This is a half PPR dynasty league, 10 teams. This is where I'm going to have to actually put Hinton into my lineup. So we'll go over him right here in this video. So as you see, I have Connor and Jonathan Taylor. So they're both all of a sudden just out of my lineup, right? So initially what I did was I moved these guys to the bench, and then I put, I did put Gio in my lineup as a running back, but now I don't need to use him. So I'm going to go ahead and put Clyde in my running back spot. And then in the flex, I'm going to go ahead and put Kendall Hinton in there. And this website is very hard to look at. This will be a lot easier to see once I get all this figured out here. All right, so now we just need we need to put a running back in there, which is going to be, I'm just going to put Miles Sanders in there for now. So then we have another flex. I don't know why this website is so weird. This is Flea Flicker. All right, here we go. Boom. All right. Sorry you guys have to see that. Just bear with me here. All right, so We took out James Conner, Jonathan Taylor, because, they're out with COVID or whatever. So now we got Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Miles Sanders in at the running back spots. And we put Mike Williams and Kendall Hinton in at the 2 flexes. So basically, I moved Helaire and Sanders out of the flex into the running back spots, and I put Mike Williams and Hinton in there. I liked Mike Williams this week already, so I'm not really that mad about having to put him into my lineup. And to touch specifically on Kendall Hinton here, I think this is a situation where he could be a good play, because I think if he is actually playing quarterback, and I'm guessing he's going to have, a few passes here. He's going to be running the ball a little bit. I think he could be a decent play. We'll have to see what the role is. The Saints have been playing well on defense, but, I'm going to play him over a guy like Giovanni Bernard, for example, who's questionable. I don't like the offense in Cincinnati right now without Joe Burrow, so I'm going to play him over Gio. Jerry Jeudy is questionable. I'm going to play him over Jerry Jeudy, unless, maybe Jerry Jeudy, maybe he gets snaps at quarterback too. I really have no idea. So in this situation, that is where I am going to play Hinton. But again, in this league, as of now, I am not. If I change my mind, I will comment it down below and put it in the description. And then, of course, I want to make sure I have all my flexes in the earlier games and wide receivers in the later games. So I'm going to put Hopkins in the flex and Mike Williams in as a wide receiver. That way, because, you just want your earlier games in your actual running back or wide receiver spots. So you have that flexibility. So noon, I think we're all good. Actually, no, we're not. Boom, boom, boom. They actually should make this website so it's not so hard to maneuver. All right, so we got early game wide receiver, flexes are both later games. All right, we'll call that good. All right. So now who should we talk about? Benny Snell. So I also picked up Benny Snell in this league right here. So this is a little bit tricky here. So I have to decide between him and Kalen Ballage. I am going to keep Lockett in there and Chase Claypool. Chris Carson is staying in there. I dropped Carlos Hyde because it looks like Chris Carson is going to play. He doesn't even have an injury tag anymore. So Kalen Ballage is questionable right now. So if it comes out, well, first of all, if Austin Eckler comes back, I'm going to play Benny Snell over Ballage, right? If it comes out also that Ballage's injury is bad, if he's a game time decision and he's kind of hampered, I'm for sure going to play Benny Snell over him. At this point, I just don't know enough about what's going on with Ballage's injury to know what I want to do. But Benny Snell, I think, is a good play. He's the only running back there. I think you can definitely play him. Those two are close for me. It's really going to be difficult for me to make that decision, but that gives you an idea of sort of the range that Benny Snell is in for me. I think that the Steelers are going to win that game pretty handily with Lamar Jackson being out for the Ravens and them just kind of having all sorts of COVID stuff going on. I think the Steelers will win that one. So I got to decide between them. I really do. I haven't had enough time. The news just broke not that long ago. So as of now, I'm playing Ballage, but if I put in Benny Snell for him, I will comment that down below, like I said. And then here in this league, we also have to deal with Benny Snell as well. So we'll take a look at my actual team here. The situation is very, very rough. I have James Conner out right now. So right out of the gate, and Flea Flicker, this is how you should do your thing, just so it's easier to move people. Boom. See how easy that was? So I put Darrell Henderson in there. I don't like him or Melvin Gordon this week, but I really don't have a choice. I was fine playing James Conner, but now we got to deal with this. So this is a situation where I'm going to want to pick up Benny Snell, at least for this week, and he's a guy that I potentially am going to want to play. So I'm just going to sort it by projected points here, and you'll notice that Jordan Wilkins is here too, and we are going to talk about him in a second. So I would rather play Benny Snell than Jordan Wilkins just to get that out of the way. Nahim Heinz is still on the Colts roster. They eat all season long. We have no idea how they're going to distribute the touches any given week. Obviously, it's a little less murky without Taylor in the picture. It's just Wilkins and Nahim Heinz. But still, I don't necessarily want to. If I was to play Wilkins or Hines, I would just say Nahim Heinz because he had a very good week against Tennessee. And Wilkins just hasn't had a great season. He's been pretty inefficient. We'll look at Hines here, at least from, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Wilkins has had not the greatest season. But This was week 10 against Tennessee with Jonathan Taylor healthy. He had 26 half PPR fantasy points against Tennessee. So, a couple weeks later, no Taylor there. I'm assuming that they'll at least give Hines some of the work. But, Wilkins should be involved hypothetically, so he's a guy you could definitely play. And I am going to pick him up as well. So my first priority is going to be Benny Snell, though. I just like that guaranteed volume, even though the matchup is not very good. So I have 74 fab dollars. I'm going to be pretty aggressive. I'm going to go ahead and invest maybe like 23 right now because I kind of need a win. I'll go over my standings as well just so you guys can get an idea of like how desperately I need a win. So the guy I'm going to drop in this league is going to be Malcolm Brown. I don't really like that three-headed approach anyways. And just a little bonus content, I am going to put in a claim as well for Cam Akers, just in case I don't get any of these guys. Not because I want to play Cam Akers this week, but I'd rather have Akers than Brown moving forward. You know what? I actually need a win pretty bad in this league. So here, just to give you some context, if you don't need Benny Snell this week, there's no need to like spend up for him or anything. Maybe he might play the following week. I'm not sure. Depending on what James Conner's situation is, but I'm 4th in the standings right now. 4 teams make the playoffs. The playoffs start week 15, but as you can see, there's a bunch of teams like there's 7-4, a bunch of teams 6-5. There's a team that's 5-6. So the race is very, very tight. So I think I'm actually going to invest a little bit more into Benny Snell than I originally said. I'm gonna go up to like 30, and I'm gonna add a few bucks just to like outbid some people. You can't take your fab with you, man. You got to spend it when you can. In fact, I think I like Benny Snell this week. Just in my situation, I would. Let's just do something like this. It's a $200 fab budget, so that's like a little over 15% of my fab right there, like from the 200 that I started with. So we have him there, and then we're gonna put in a bid for Wilkins as well. I forgot his name for a sec. We're gonna put a bid in for Wilkins. I'm not gonna do as much. I'm gonna do something maybe like 20, 22. I don't like him as much. He's kind of my secondary option. And at a certain point, like I don't even necessarily. I don't like Darrell Henderson, but there's a lot of uncertainty with Wilkins as well. So yeah, I definitely would much rather play Snell over Wilkins. If Nahim Heinz was here, it would be pretty close between him and Benny Snell. I'd probably put pretty similar bids in for both of them. But I also am the James Conner owner, so picking up Snell will also be an added benefit for me because if James Conner misses another week, then I have Benny Snell. And just to check, James Conner and the Steelers do play Washington the following week after Baltimore. So you know what? I'm actually going to go ahead. I know I've changed this a few times in this video, but again, we're just doing this together. I'm going up to 37. I'm just going to do it. Especially because I have James Conner. That was enough for me to make that push. And then, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and put in I think it was just one more claim. Let me see. Justice Hill also is a guy who potentially could get some work in that Steelers and Pittsburgh game, just as like a little bonus guy. So I'm also going to put in a claim for Cam Akers here. I'm just going to do like a $0 bid because if I don't get him, I'm honestly fine with that. But I'm going to go ahead. I'd just rather have him than Malcolm Brown. I think he'll eventually get more work. So I'm just going to drop Malcolm Brown right there. Boom. All right, so these are the transactions that we made right here. You can see them right there. We made a pretty big bid on Benny Snell just because we need that start at running back. And same thing with Jordan Wilkins, just not as much invested in him. And hopefully we'll get one of these guys, and I will probably play him over Darrell Henderson. So yeah, that's kind of what our situation is looking like. So we talked about Benny Snell again in this league. I'm gonna have to decide between him and Balaj. As of now, I'm leaning Balaj, but if the injury is not ideal, I will put Benny Snell in there for him. We talked about and then in this league right here, we just put in a claim for Benny Snell to play him over an injured James Conner. In this league, we do not have the opportunity to pick up Benny Snell. So I also forgot to say, I did just pick up Kendall Hilton and I dropped Dante Pettis. So that's how I was able to attain him. He's off of waivers now because our waivers end pretty close to Sunday, so that if you need to add someone in an emergency, you don't have to go through that bidding process. So in this league right here, I am starting Hinton because I have the need to start a guy like that. Whereas in this league, I have the depth where, because Hinton is also not necessarily a smash play, because we don't know his role as of this recording. You see the time right there. You see the date. Just as of this recording, we don't really know. He's not going to surpass Tyler Lockett, Chase Claypool, or Chris Godwin at this point. So we'll just have to see how that shakes out. And then with Wilkins and Hines, I would rather play Hines, but in this league, he's not available, so I had to put in a claim for Wilkins. And, you know, if we don't get Benny Snell, I'll probably put Wilkins in for Darrell Henderson. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what's going on. Hope you guys are handling this situation well. It's a little bit kind of crazy, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing in my leagues. Comment down below if you're doing anything different, because a lot of people are a little bit confused, especially with that Denver situation with them having no quarterbacks. No one really knows what to do. I guess I should also add that in this league, I'm 7-4, 5th in the standings. If you do look at the standings, I do need to get a win here. 6 teams make the playoffs, and I do have a couple game lead over the 6th place team, so that's nice, but I still want to get that win to secure that spot. So again, that's why I made sure to pick up Benny Snell. And also, I picked up Hinton because the guy I'm playing, he's currently starting Sammy Watkins at the flex. So I want to block him from being able to get Hinton or Benny Snell, because I would rather go up against Sammy Watkins than either of those two guys. And then if you look at the, this is my Dynasty League right here. If you look at the standings again, I'm 6-5. There's a lot of teams locked pretty close here. I am 1, 2, 3, 5. Looks like I'm 5th in the standings right now. Yeah, or I could have just looked at that. So again, I got to get a win in this league. I think 6 teams make the playoffs in this league, I'm pretty sure. But still, like, I want to make sure I get that win, secure that spot. So I picked up Hinton, so like this guy couldn't play him against me. I don't think he would necessarily play him against me. I mean, he's playing a guy like Brian Hill, Damian Harris. Those are guys that, you know, maybe you could play Hinton over. We just have to wait for more news to come out, as I have said like a million times now. But yeah, he made my lineup here, so I'm actually kind of excited to see what he can do. Just a wide receiver starting at quarterback, you know, that's not something you see every day. So as I was saying earlier, before I got talking about my standings and kind of the context of why I am, you know, adding certain players, because of, you know, needing a win right here and right now. So yeah, as I was saying, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. Make sure to drop a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.